Hey guys, and welcome to game number 63 out of 100 of my rematch series against the AI-powered Scrabble Bot BestBot. After another 2-0 week, last week we have cut our deficit to just 4 games, sitting at 29 and 33 through the first 62 games. So if we can keep this pace up just a little bit longer, we may even tie up the series, but we'll see. This is going to be a very spicy game to start because my only playable bingo is Chortler for 64, and that stops one before a triple word score, but I mean, I think I got to do it, right? What else am I going to do here? My other options score like 15 points. There's no guarantee that the bot has an S, so we're going to do it, for better or worse. And I unfortunately don't draw an S. If the bot has an S, then obviously it's going to play something with Chortlers for a boatload of points. If it doesn't have an S, then things could get more interesting because we could see the bot decide to sacrifice a lot of points to try to block, worrying that I might have drawn an S, or we might see the bot leave the spot completely open. So we'll just have to see. If the bot elects to leave the spot open, I imagine I'm going to try to at least partially block in some capacity, maybe something like Zarf, at least forcing some overlaps to hit the S, although it certainly is not an exhaustive block. Fab here, also not an exhaustive block. The bot could, of course, play something through that B ending in an S, like Jobs for probably 90-ish points. So, a lot of danger here, and the bot is thinking for a while, which kind of makes me think it doesn't have an S. Like, I would have thought if it had an S, it would have played something there by now. But we'll see. It'll be very interesting to see if the bot doesn't have an S, whether it decides to block or if it's brazen enough to leave it open. I think most human players would be absolutely terrified and almost certainly block if they didn't have an S. We've seen BestBot make some more aggressive decisions throughout the series. So we will see it. But the bot is going into a pretty deep think here. It's already been thinking for over 90 seconds. So we'll see how long it continues to evaluate its options for. And Palm for 19 is the choice for BestBot. Okay. So it obviously doesn't have an S, so we're to play Palms or Mops for like 60. I think that much we can know for sure, but this is not a conclusive block because there are plenty of words that end with MS. Triples are even possible. Words ending in, say, isms or IUMS or something like that. So a lot of danger still lurking there. And I got to now decide if I want to try to block more effectively. So if I play something... Unfortunately, I can't end anything in AF. That would be a great play here to score and block. If I play... See, the crazy thing is that if I play something like flan, this mostly blocks, but isms words could still even fit as a triple-triple. So that could create this absolute landmine for the rest of the game. But obviously, it still makes it a lot harder, because now the bot has to have 2 S's, or I would have to, for that matter, to hit it. I mean, it's actually just not even a terrible play for my rack. It does clean out some of my consonants. I could also just play Zarf for 36 and leave the spot open. It scores a lot more points. BLNR, certainly not a great rack by any means. Y also takes an S. It's worth mentioning. Anything through this OR horizontally? 4, but that doesn't, again, really block. Words with AMS or EMS are still going to fit. You could also play on the right. I guess if I wanted to block more definitively, then my play is something like NAB. Actually, Gemsbach still fits. GEMSB, okay. That would be ridiculous. But I think literally other than Gemsbach and maybe 1 or 2 other words I'm not thinking of, this does block effectively. So if I wanted to take the spot out for good, pretty much, that would be how I could do that, if that's something I'm interested in doing, which I am a little bit interested in doing, I'll be honest. I mean, it seems like a decent option. FLRZ is consonant heavy, but if I can draw one or two vowels, it has some good scoring potential. The bot is still going to be the favorite to hit the spot because I'm probably not going to be playing more than 3 tiles here anyway. And the bot is going to have first dibs after just having played itself. And another thing with Flan I don't like is it gives back a huge double-double line down the E column for 7s ending in an E with EF. That's really not something I'm interested in opening if I can help it. So I kind of do think I'm going to play Nab, actually, and just, like, once and for all block this. Gemsbach is so unlikely that I'm not going to really worry about it. Yeah, I think that's the play here. And with the F2, I said a potential 4 plays. If I can O, I can play of, or A, I can play Fa. I think that's fine. I guess I could also play Fa right now, but that, again, doesn't really block. So I think that's enough time on this turn. Let's just play Nab. All right, I get one vowel at least. So I could possibly play Zerk through the R in Chortler. Keeps a unideal leave, to say the least. But might be the best I can do, depending on what BestBot elects to go with here. I have the K, so I could fish for Gemsbach. I mean, I don't think I should actually fish, but I mean, that would be one of the most aesthetically pleasing plays ever. Erecting for 94, okay. Now I'm regretting not just playing Zarf. But hard to know what to do in those kind of bizarre situations. So now do I play Zerk through this E? 34, keeping FELR. Seems decent. Also play Kerf. Oh, that's 42. That's probably better, actually. I didn't realize that was so many more points. Yeah, 42. If the bot, for whatever reason, decides to not play on the left, I have a decent chance of hitting something like Zoiel for 68. Could even hit something like Blazers from this B. Actually, not even that unlikely with all those A's, E's, and S's left at all. Yeah, I think Kerf has to be a better play here. I'm going to do that. And I do hit Zoiel, almost Blazers, but not quite. I don't think I have anything from the B. I could play Earldom to this M, keeping just a Z. If, say, the bot plays to the K or something and blocks Zoe A. Sets up the Z as well here. It's not a crazy-looking play. But we'll see. It's been a fairly strange start to this game after my bingo of Chortler stopping, I should say, one before a triple word score. And now that the K is gone, I think it's safe to say that the spot won't be used. Gemsbach, barring a blank being used as the K, no longer a possibility. Interested to find out if there are any other words that could fit there. All right, Zoiel is basically an insta-play, right? I mean, it's 68, keeps ERD. Is there anything else to think about? I don't see why there is. I'm going to play that quickly. And I draw Dessert. Excellent. There are the S's. Dessert, Desserts, and Trest. Oh, Dessert. How about this play? Wow. That's cool. Deserters and Kerfs for 82. Could also play Deserts for 77 with Ys if Deserters happens to get blocked, which I think is fairly unlikely. So things are looking fairly good right now. Even game, but I will be bingoing on my next turn. We'll see what BestBot wants to do here. There are still 2 blanks left. The pool is actually very vowel heavy. It's already more vowels than consonants this early in the game, which is fairly unusual. Once again, it is a common misconception that a pool with the same number of vowels and consonants is balanced. It's actually not. It's vowel heavy because the game starts with 42 vowels, 56 consonants, and 2 blanks. So pool with the same number is actually slightly more vowel heavy than average. Just a fun fact to keep in mind. But yeah, Deserters here is going to be the play. Let me just spell it correctly. 82 points. And all right, I get a blank, which is good. Jowd is going to be upwards of 50. That's 57 points. So almost certainly going to be the best play if that stays open. Not too concerned about a J in the 4th spot of a triple-triple line. Of course, if the bot gets down Banjoist, I'll be fairly sad, but that's unlikely enough that it's going to definitely be worth the risk for a 57-point play. Could play Jows, I guess, too, but I'm not giving up 27 points. I'm not up enough to do something like that, especially for a J. If it were an E in the 7th spot of a triple line, then maybe that's a different conversation, but a J in the 4th spot, the odds of a triple are just so astronomically small that I'm not going to be giving up that many points. And at this score, I don't really care too much if the bot scores 40 with the J. After all, I'm getting 57, so it's still a positive outcome for me if the bot scores 40. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Not too much else to think about here, I don't think. I guess, I could consider now, though, is this. Because this, before it wasn't worth considering because it also opened a triple. Now it doesn't open a triple. And not only does it not open a triple, it also blocks the T. So this is interesting. Like, I think in a tournament where spread matters, I would just be aggressive and play Jout here because I have the blank in hand and I want to try to bingo again and win this game by a lot. But in this kind of situation where I'm mostly just playing to win, I think playing Jout to the D actually has a lot of merit. Because I basically stop all bingos on the left. I'm still up 95 points. There's no freak triple or big J bingo possibility. And keeping the D, like normally I'd probably rather just keep G blank, but with this pool, remember guys, it's a Val heavy pool. D G blank is totally fine. I honestly think, again, given in this series, I'm more or less trying to play for win percentage as opposed to spread. I think this is the right play. Like if it were say the finals of nationals where it's just a best of 5 and spread doesn't matter unless there's a tie, which is extremely unlikely, I would probably play this. If it were the first game of nationals and spread could really matter, I would almost certainly play the other Joud, but I think here I'm going to actually play it here and keep it tighter. Okay. Homaged, probably not going to play on this board. Nothing from the B that I am aware of. Could just play something here on my next turn, like Hom. Wow. Okay. Kiviots for 100. That is not what I expected to happen. Goodness gracious. And BestBot, just like that, takes the lead. Wow. Another thing I could honestly do is HM. That's 36 points. It's not bad. I guess my concern with a play like Hom is potential overlaps. Although, it's not that big a risk, most likely. I don't have a bingo here, right? I guess I should just dispense of that possibility as well. But I don't think I do. So yeah, it's probably, I guess I could also play God for 26. This is a much stronger leave. Overlaps are still a little bit of a concern, though, with a go and ode being good. I'm not sure I really want to invite that. I'd probably rather let the bot play there and then I can overlap back. So I think I actually like leaving that spot alone the more I look at it and just playing HM on the bottom. It scores the same. The leave isn't really worse. Doesn't give anything back. Is there any merit to playing like home here? Home? I don't really think so. Scores fewer points and this leave is fine. Yeah, I'm leaning towards HM now. I think that's what I'm going to do. 2 more A's, not really what I wanted. I will be honest, but it is what it is. Might just consider something like AA. There's a large number of I's and U's still left. Yeah, this pool is actually not all that good. There are 6 I's, 3 U's, relatively few A's and E's. So a lot of potential danger still lurking in the pool as far as nightmare draw situations. But we'll see what BestBot does here on its next play. And BestBot exchanges 6 after thinking for 90 seconds. Interesting. So BestBot very well could have had a bunch of those I's and U's I was just talking about. It's worth mentioning 8 I's and 4 U's were unseen before Kvyat's. So before that play, only 1 I had been played and no U's. That's actually crazy. So how do I want to respond to this exchange 6? How about Goa, actually? It does allow some overlaps. But now I just don't really have any other good plays. And after a trade 6, the buy is a fairly random rack. There aren't that many A's and E's left to overlap a Go or Ego now. It's kind of tricky to get 2 consonants to line up exactly right. I don't think this is that dangerous. And then I can just play something with a Go and Dow on my next turn and keep scoring. I think I'm going to do this. It also stops plays through the J. Yeah, I'm going to play here. Okay. Do I have a bingo? It's tough to bingo through an I with this rack. Iodation, not going to work. Anything through a V? Devonian, not going to play. I need an E for that. Favonian, I need an F. Don't believe so. Anything above Goa? Yeah, I don't think so. The problem is the only tile I have that goes above the AE is the N, and the only tile I have that goes above the OW is the D. So I'd have to do something like this, which is not going to work. Unless I use the blank, I guess, for one of these other tiles. Do I even have a 7 with this rack, actually, now that I think about it? I might not even have a 7. Yeah, the more I look at this, the more I kind of feel like I've seen this rack come up in the sense that it has no 7s. Which I know looks kind of crazy. Wait a minute. Do I have, like... I actually am crazy close to, like, some 10s here? Like, dedication, if it can be spelled that way. Hold on, wait a second. Demarcation. Dang. Deprecation. Devacation? That's not a word. Man, that would be absolutely sick. I don't think it's there, though. Yeah, I don't think so. All right. So maybe just Odia here? For 19, keeping AIN blank. I actually kind of want to get rid of an I. There's 5 I's left. It's not that easy to do in that spot, though. Huh. Still up a little bit. I don't really want to open the board, given I have a lead. But I also don't want to play super paranoid defense because I'm not up all that much, and I could get outscored without a bingo still. I guess Odia is probably fine. I mean, I could also play like Aid here, but I'm not dying to do that and give back easy plays on the top from the A that also reopen. So I think... Is it even crazy to just do like this? Probably. I don't think that bingo's enough on this board. There's also this B. Yeah, I'm just a little bit worried about drawing into a rack with like 3 I's. I guess a do is one more. I could even play a node. Maybe I just... AI is scary with this pool, though. Much scarier than AIN. I don't know. I really do not want to get 3 eyes here, guys. I really don't. And I'm definitely concerned about that after a play like Ado. But I just don't really see any other options I like, so I'm going to play it for better or worse. All right, that was a good draw. Didn't get any more eyes. A second N, but I can live with that, especially since I got the S. Nirvanas or Navarins. Almost certainly would play Nirvanas to not open the triple for 2 less. Only score 64, though, because it's through a blank V. That might be the only playable bingos. Oh, here's another. If that gets blocked, I might actually play Banyan for 9. That would be diabolical. Keeping S blank. That would be so diabolical. And that could be really annoying to block effectively, too. I mean, I could also just play Banyans, but I don't want to do that, because then the bot can bingo to the S. Like, if Nirvanas gets blocked, I'm actually going to probably play Banyan for 9. That would be amazing. Chortler and then Banyan, both 1 before a triple in the same game. But we'll see what BestBot does. It goes into another pretty deep think here. All right, it plays Pies. So yeah, I think Nirvana's has got to be better than Banyan here, as tempting as Banyan is. I mean, that puts me up 90, and that pull is dreadful. I guess if the... Yeah, and the thing is, too, if the bot bingos, then that means it'll empty the bag. I guess it's possible I could lose after this if the bot bingos and I draw like IIUUUV or something. I guess that is a risk I should consider. But I mean, if I play... Yeah, I mean, if I play Banyan, then the bot could also like bingo to the end and block my spot and I could lose. So I think I gotta just bingo here and hope I don't get an absolute nightmare draw. Alright, that's pretty bad, but I would not consider that an absolute nightmare. Still no eyes, which is good. 5 or 4 eyes still remaining unseen. Well, look at the bot's last rack. See, like, that's the one thing I was concerned about, though, guys, was, like, if I drew the garbage that the bot has now, IIIOOUU, then I could have lost after Nirvanas. That's why I was a little bit concerned. So, I don't know, maybe I should have just played off, like, 2 letters there, but, like, the thing is, if I play off AN, I could still draw 2 eyes and not bingo. That's how bad the pool is, so I don't know. If I don't feel absolutely certain that not bingoing is correct, I'm always hesitant to do it. I mean, I don't even know what to do here. I guess just Viva and then until through the eye, right? Or something like that. I mean, the bot has one of the worst racks in the history of Scrabble, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, the bot isn't even going to make an effort to block until. Maybe I should slow play, but I think this is fine. Unlit until doesn't matter. So, all right, 529, 465. Very interesting game there from the beginning. Some tough decisions throughout the game. Let's see how I did. A lot to think about with the chortler spot, of course, then later on with the pool being so ugly and heavy on the eyes and the U's. But let's see. Ball opening with Y looks very reasonable. Chortler is the only bingo. Yeah, I mean, you got to do this, right? Like, if I had a blank, I could see passing it up if somehow this were my only playable bingo with a blank. Like, let's say the E were the blank, for instance. It's probably still my only playable bingo. I could then see maybe passing it up because the difference in equity is a lot less keeping the blank, but you can't give up 47 points of equity here on the first turn of the game when you have no idea if your opponent actually has an S. Like, they might, but they also might not, and you could draw the S, and that has a lot of upside. So Bob plays Palm, partially blocking. It's also just a pretty good play, equity-wise. Genome. It's interesting, because like one upside of Genome over Palm is Palm doesn't really block. Like I said, tons of stuff is still going to fit there. So if you're not going to really block, then you might be better off just turning over tiles. I guess something that would really block would be Meg. I mean, there are some words that have SG in the middle, like misguide or something, but it's tough. So this is a more effective block if the bot wants to go that way. The bot is down, but even though the bot's down, I just turned over 7 tiles, and the bot doesn't want the game to get out of hand. I actually probably would have played Meg here, and just kind of minimize the damage, figure at least I stay in the game, and NOPR is still a decent enough leave, I might have actually gone this way. I don't think I would have played Pum. I think I would have either played Meg and just blocked the spot, or played Genome to turn over more tiles for it. Or maybe even Mongrel, honestly. Yeah, probably Mongrel isn't even on this list, but yeah, maybe just Mongrel. Like, if you're going to leave the spot open, every tile turned over is huge. So I would play Mongrel. It also doesn't give back a big scoring spot for an X or other tile like Genome does on the bottom. So I would either just play Mongrel and go all out for the spot and try to beat me to it, or play Meg and block it personally. I don't like Pom. That's just my 2 cents. Obviously, BestBot thought for a while and decided this was the best play, so who knows? Oh, I missed Razor. That's probably what I should have done here. I mean, it's a pretty conclusive block. It's not exhaustive, because stuff like Dams is still going to fit. But that's probably better than, what did I do? Nab. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, I'm just looking at all these other plays. These other plays don't block, really. I think blocking it in some capacity makes sense. I just don't like Zarf keeping 4 consonants, leaving the spot wide open. Because now even if I draw an S, I also need to draw a vowel, which is not a guarantee by any means. Fa here doesn't really block. Yeah, I think I saw Flan. Like I said, I didn't really like leaving that double line open. I don't think Nab is terrible. Like, it might still be the best play aside from Razor. Bran, I guess, is also an option if I don't want to create as dangerous a double line, because there aren't as many words ending in an A. I don't love creating this Isms landmine, though, that could just stay open for the whole game. Like, that seems very scary. So I would probably play Nib to avoid that. But yeah, Razor, the nice thing about Razor, too, is it should be pretty easy for me to play under the R and the A and completely block the spot on a near turn. So it sort of sets up a fully effective 2-turn block, which is nice. Yeah, I don't think Nab is terrible, but probably Razor is a little bit better. Oh, I wanted to check if there is literally anything else other than Gemsbach and its inflections that fits through MSB. Let's see. It is just Gemsbach and Gemsbuck. Plus, of course, their plurals. Wow, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, Nab was maybe a little bit too over-paranoid, but I don't think it's completely unreasonable. Erecting for 94. Kerf looks good here. Yeah, like I said, the Z has a lot of upside with Blazers. Zoiel is a possibility, and it did indeed pay off. Wow, I didn't expect this is what the bot was going to keep. AAQU. I guess it's also thinking about playing through this E, right? I mean, if it draws an N for Queen, several other 2-tile draws, stuff through this K like Quark. Yeah, there's a lot of upside to this leave if I leave the left open. Of course, the problem is I often don't leave the left open, and then the Q doesn't have a great future on this board. The other option here is Fa, which keeps what seems like a little bit more of a balanced leave. Also still goes for plenty of plays through the E. I might slightly have leaned towards this, but Def also seems reasonable. I get keeping the Q here. There are just no good plays right now. They get rid of the Q, so seems good. Zoiel was a no-brainer. K for 11. Interesting. Oh, is it going for Banquet? I think it's going for Banquet, guys, with 4 ends left. Yeah, that's clever. I mean, Banquet is 81 points. 84 points, excuse me. That's a lot of points. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I mean, there's just no other good options here. Deserters was a good play. But gives up on going for Banquet here. Yeah, Taxer makes sense. Keeping QTU. You could also play Quest. Yeah, pool is Val heavy enough. I guess QUT has enough of a potential to improve and yield a big play. So Taxer seems reasonable. Yeah, and here I mentioned Joud, of course, which is clearly a better play in terms of equity. But I will admit I didn't really anticipate Kvyats for 100 on my next turn. And even if I did think the bot was going to bingo there, I have a blank. The bingo will give me floaters to bingo back through. I think this is still reasonable just to take out bingos on the left and also big plays through the J. It's questionable, and like I said, in an early tournament situation, I'd probably play the higher scoring Joud, but in the match play style game, I think that makes sense. Kvyats for 100. I missed Ohm. Oh, shoot. Yeah, I just totally forgot about the O. That is so bad. And I missed Hodge. Yeah, this is a horrible play. Wow. Absolutely dreadful play here. This is my worst play of the game by a mile. Yeah, especially in that pool. You got to get rid of the O. Or, I mean, this is maybe better too. It does give back a big line from the H potentially, which could be a little bit scary. So I think I'd rather let the bot hit something and then give me a bingo back. But yeah, I got to see Ohm here. I saw open earlier too. I just didn't notice it, unfortunately, here. Very, very sloppy. Yeah, and thankfully for me, though, I got bailed out of my sloppiness by virtue of the bot just getting completely overrun by vowels. So toe is 16, but the bot decides that with all those eyes left, it just wants to chuck 6 back into the bag. Okay. Goa here looks reasonable. The bot now with way too many consonants just can't seem to get a good rack. Det keeping GPY, going for scoring. That makes sense. Yeah, edgy is more, but the B and the P go very poorly together. These tiles at least have some semblance of synergy. A do, I guess, is fine. Yeah, I didn't really like this, giving back plays on the top that reopen. There's just no plays that get rid of the I that are good. Yeah, this gives back a big scoring spot that doesn't seem too smart. I guess a do is fine. Yeah, worth mentioning, there were indeed no 10s through the ECT, which would have been pretty epic. But with PIS, pieing, yeah, it's the last E, so you want to hold on to that. What is it trying to draw, though? I have no idea. But I guess there just isn't really all that much else to do here. I'm not sure what it's fishing for. Yeah, so this turn, again, I don't think this is entirely obvious. I think Nirvana's has to be better than Navarin's for just 2 less. I don't like Banyans giving back potential big bingos to the S. I would actually just play Banyan, like I mentioned during the game. But again, the problem with Banyan is that the bot could definitely bingo to this N, which more or less, like with Graviton or even Relation, could potentially take out my plays there. And even with S blank, like look at that pool. There's plenty of ways I don't bingo on the resulting board. Plenty. And then I'm in a pretty good deal of trouble. I figured after this, I'm still going up like 90, that I'm going to need just like one of the worst draws possible to lose. And I mean, I could have gotten it given what the bot ended up getting. But I just didn't think there was a way here to really guarantee a win, right? Because like I said, there's plenty of ways to lose after Banyan or Banyans. I think there's ways to lose too if I just do something like this. I mean, this is maybe a better idea though. I should have at least thought of more. 15 points. I mean, I'm up 40. I guess the problem with this, right, is if the bot... Well, 2 things could actually happen here. The bot could just bingo through the I or the V and Kvyats potentially. And then if I don't draw a counter bingo, which is possible, then I'm in a bit of trouble. Or even if the bot plays something like Braving on the bottom for 50, and then draws scoring tiles and I draw some I's and U's, I could have issues. So I think all of these plays have potential disaster scenarios that lose. And usually when I am in a situation where it's not clear cut that passing up the bingo is better, I tend to just, when in doubt, take the bingo. And that's generally the approach I recommend. Because you don't want to try to get too cute, then get outscored and lose. Like, at least if you bingo and you have the worst draw you've ever seen and you lose that way, you don't feel as bad about it. Also, mind you, like, I need to not only draw the worst draw I've ever seen, the bot also has to bingo, which is far from a guarantee. So I think taking the 64 here is reasonable. And yeah, the bot does hit layering, takes it over Yearling. It's probably trying to draw the Vs here, right? It figures it's still going to be the underdog, being down 12 points in the tempo in a 7v7 endgame. It's probably hoping to draw the Vs here and hit a big play because it needs something to go well for it. But yeah, like if I had drawn I-O-O-U-U or whatever the heck the bot had, I almost certainly would have lost after this. So it is possible for me to have lost. But luckily I got a draw that was at least not that bad. Easy play of Viva for 42, and then this endgame was very straightforward. So yeah, very interesting game. A lot of weird turns, like after Chortler was on the board. HM was just pathetic. I don't know how I didn't see Ohm there or Hodge. That was a very embarrassing turn. I hope to not do stuff like that anymore. That's the one turn I'm really unhappy about. Joud was very questionable. Nab was very questionable, but at least those plays I think were reasonable. HM is just a straight up mistake. So definitely not my cleanest game, but an interesting game nonetheless. Some flashy words there. Chortler, Kvyats, Deserters is a 9. So hopefully this one was still fun and instructive, even though it wasn't my my best game I've played. So thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, really appreciate all your support. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all soon for the next video. Bye-bye.